Hello gorgeous, welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. If you're new, it means so much if you click that subscribe button to join my YouTube family. I do post every single Tuesday and Thursday. I've been doing a ton of videos like this, which I will link my fitness playlist in the description box for you guys to check out more. But today I really wanted to focus on how I was able to lose fat and tone up and share with you 5 simple tips. These are all tips that I use and do on a daily basis and continue to do, and I swear by them. They have transformed my body and it has changed my whole weight loss journey. So I did gain over 20 pounds during the lockdowns and the pandemic in 2020, like so many of us, and it really put me in a rut. It led to a lot of unhealthy habits that were really hard for me to curb. I was really also not in the best mental space, and it wasn't until the year of 2022 where I was able to kick my old unhealthy habits, start some new healthy habits, and I have been able to lose over 20 pounds as well as lose 5 inches just on my waist and losing inches off other parts of my body, which I was really trying to target and work on. So if you guys like this video, thumbs it up, it really helps me out. And with that being said, let's just jump right into it. Before jumping into the 5 tips, I just wanted to quickly talk about my mindset. Before starting my weight loss journey, I tried many times and I kept falling off, and it was just not sustainable, and I would fail all the time and go back to my old unhealthy habits. And that was because my mindset wasn't right. I didn't have a healthy view around my weight loss or what I wanted, and I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. It wasn't until I started to focus on what's really important and learn about nutrition and learn about what is good for the body, what's not, why it's good, why it's gonna benefit me in the future, was I able to have a successful weight loss journey and be able to maintain it. Going into a weight loss journey or trying to just become healthier, if you're just so used to eating unhealthy and barely getting movement, it is very difficult at the beginning. It definitely can be a struggle at the very beginning until you really get into those habits and it becomes like second nature to you and your body adjusts and gets used to it. I went into this just looking at it 30 days at a time. Thinking of forever can be really overwhelming. I find having smaller goals and taking little baby steps is just less overwhelming, feels a lot more attainable and a lot easier to grasp. And that really just worked for me. Just going in it one day at a time, every day is a new day, and not to be so harsh and judgmental on yourself, because I feel like so many of us are very hard on ourselves. We don't give ourselves any grace or patience, and it's important to make sure that little baby steps and those little wins that you do are just as important to when you get to the big goal. And something that I really like to keep in mind, and a quote that I always remember, which I'm sure you guys may have heard of it before, but that is just 2 weeks you'll feel it, in 4 weeks you'll see it, and in 8 weeks you'll hear it. This quote is so true. So that was always just a quote I like to have in the back of my head that was a little bit of motivation when I felt like I was lacking some days, because not every day is going to be perfect, not every day is going to be easy, and not every day you're going to be the most motivated, just go person. So it's always good to have some little motivations and motivators here and there to remind yourself why you're doing this and remind yourself of your future goals. So with that being said, let's just jump right now into the 5 tips that I did in order to lose fat and tone up. The first tip is to drink water on an empty stomach right in the morning. Something that I definitely knew I needed to target and I needed to work on was drinking more water, because to be completely honest, I was just not keeping up with my water. I wasn't having enough. And something that I found worked for me, right when I wake up, instead of going straight for breakfast, I like to fill up my glass of water in a glass jar and just refill it a few times and drink some water on an empty stomach. Benefits of doing this have positive effects of flushing out toxins from the body, increasing energy and immunity, reducing weight and increasing your metabolism. It prevents headaches and kidney stones, and improves also your hair and skin health. So this is just such a simple, easy habit that you can incorporate into your daily routine. These habits are something that are really great to do because it's something that you don't have to take anything away, you're just adding to your routine. Tip number 2 is to clean up your diet. This was something I really had to work and focus on when it came to myself personally during my whole weight loss journey, and how I was able to lose the weight and also just tone up and see the fat shed off. This is definitely something that could be seen as overwhelming when you first start a weight loss journey. It could be something that you dread, or you could just have a really negative mindset towards it. I needed to really understand more about nutrition. For the longest time, I unfortunately had these unhealthy habits of constantly just eating processed, pre-packaged foods, junk foods, and I wasn't having a balanced, healthy diet. I'm going to share some of my tips when it comes to how I was able to personally clean up my diet and kind of what worked for myself, and maybe you could apply it to your life if you want to try some of the things that worked for me. Something I did focus on was eating more whole foods and eating higher quality protein. I really started to choose more whole, natural foods, and I started to limit or completely eliminate a lot of processed foods out of my diet, and this made such a big difference. Of course, I had to do a lot of more home cooking. I really don't order food out for the most part. I do think it's good to have a balance in life, and that I'm definitely one that's not like, I will never eat this ever again in my life. I think it's okay to have balance and to indulge in those foods that aren't always the best for you, as long as you're eating in moderation and that is not the majority of your diet. But I knew at the beginning of my weight loss, I really needed to kind of go away from that, because my body was just honestly sick of all of the processed stuff that I was eating, and I wanted to turn more to whole foods. So eating foods from its natural state. So I would have things like sweet potatoes or eggs or chicken breast, broccoli and vegetables and fruit. So eating more foods like that, where there's not a bunch of stuff done to the food. I wanted majority of my food to just be fresh. And I really became aware that a lot of food are full of salt, sugar, and fat. And these more whole foods and fresh foods are naturally low in all sugar, fat, and salt. You really want to enjoy what you're eating. You don't want to dread it. You don't want to feel like you're in a diet and you're depriving yourself, because if you are depriving yourself constantly and you're just miserable every day while you're eating, you're going to end up going back to the way you used to eat, and it's just not sustainable. So I started learning healthy recipes and doing things like taco bowls and burrito bowls, and just finding things that I love, just making it healthier with the whole foods that I have. And I'm definitely one that likes to switch things up and spice things up. And eating healthy doesn't have to be boring at all. There's so many recipes online. A big thing that has helped me was getting substitutions for the things I love. So instead of having white bread, I like rye bread. And I'm definitely a huge pasta girl, but I started to buy pastas that were made of chickpeas and lentils and even quinoa, and having cauliflower rice as opposed to white rice, or eating my peanut butter that I love, but I always go for a natural peanut butter and not those highly processed peanut butters. I also like to find snacks, and when I do find snacks, I like to make sure I'm looking at the ingredients, because a lot of the times there's so much extra ingredients that you wouldn't even think of that is put into these so-called healthy snacks. I've been loving the That's It mini fruit bars. I love these as kind of like a go-to snack when I'm on the run, just because it's very clean. It only has 2 ingredients in it, so it just has the ingredients of the fruit. So that's always good when you are looking for snacks, to look at the ingredients if you do want to have snacks at home that you just kind of grab. Something that I started to lean away from, that I started to do near the beginning, was a lot of the times I was actually just finding substitutes for foods that I liked, and these substitutes would say low in fat or low in sugar or have 0 sugar. But if you look at the ingredients to a lot of these products, because they're not using the sugar or they're not using the fat, they are substituting it with a lot of chemicals that in turn are really not that great for your body at all and can be worse than if you just got the original item or food item that you wanted. I'm definitely not a professional by any means, but I've really been getting into educating myself and researching about nutrition from professionals and learning about which ingredients are great for you, which ones are gonna keep you satisfied, what is not great for you in the future. And I think it's really important to just look into that and really educate yourself and finding substitutions, but finding healthy substitutions. And when you eat like this and your diet consists of this, it makes you feel full and content longer than when you're eating that diet that's full of unhealthy foods like processed foods or chips and chocolate and candy. It may curb your craving or your sweet tooth then, but then you find yourself not long after wanting more. It's like an ongoing cycle. While when I've been eating a lot cleaner and leaning towards more fresh foods and whole foods, I've been feeling more full for longer and feeling content and not getting all those crazy cravings constantly. And like I did mention, protein is definitely key in my diet as well. I've definitely become a lot more aware and incorporating it more in most of my meals that I'm eating. To be completely honest, I usually do have some sort of protein source. When you incorporate protein into your diet, you're a lot more satisfied for longer. It helps to build lean muscle, but it also helps in maintaining a healthy weight. And some great high quality options for protein include meat, fish, soy, quinoa. These are all definitely things that I have incorporated into my diet to hit my protein. I definitely like to get a lot of my protein sources from actual food that are high in protein. That personally is what I enjoy and what works for me. And that leads me to number 3, which is to snack on fruits and veggies. I am definitely a snacker, not going to lie about that one, and I definitely like to have snack options. And something I've been leaning towards so much more this year is vegetables and fruit. My diet was really low in vegetables and fruits previously, and I really always would say I don't like that. It doesn't taste good to me. I'd rather go for something unhealthy. I've really gotten into the habit of eating fruits and veggies as a healthy snack. And you can definitely spice it up or have it different ways. So some things that I like to have between meals, if I just find like I need a little snack, is vegetables and hummus. Another thing I love having is just different types of fruits. I personally love apples, and I love it with my protein filled dip, which I did do a video, I believe, of what I eat in a day where I mention what I put in my dip. I will link that above. It is so good. This is something I look forward to every day. It feels like you're eating a dessert and you're getting in your protein, you're getting in your fruit, and it's just so, so delicious. So I totally recommend trying that out. But I also just like to have, whether it's eating banana with peanut butter on it or having fruits through making myself a smoothie and putting in also vegetables into my smoothie. These are all snacks that I like to lean towards, and that I find when I have them, it just makes me feel really good as well. By fueling your body with good nutrients and nourishing your body and taking care of it, you feel it on the inside and outside. You feel a lot more energetic, you're not as moody, your joints feel better. It's a complete overall change. And when I turn to fruits and veggies, this really just keeps me satisfied. You can eat a lot more than if you go in and have those like highly processed snacks. And that leads me to number 4, which is move your body almost every day. Of course, I am totally one to believe that you definitely need your rest days. I typically like to take a rest day once a week. Trying to live a healthier lifestyle is to listen to your body and to do things that are gonna be good for your body. So sometimes it's okay to have a rest day, and sometimes you need it, and it's actually better than pushing yourself and leading to injury and just being completely burnt out and exhausted. And I do, however, for most days, like to really move my body, get some form of exercise in. And I don't mean like you have to go hardcore every single day, do an hour of workout at the gym or something like that. It could be anything, just by getting more steps in, just by going for a light walk, going for a yoga class, going boxing, doing weightlifting, going out for a bike ride. Two things I learned definitely is you need to find an exercise that, one, you enjoy, and two, that's sustainable. I personally love weightlifting. That's just been my form of exercise most days. And then also I like to go just for a light walk. And those are the two things that work for me personally, that I enjoy, I don't dread, and that I find the best result. But in the end of the day, you want to find something that you enjoy and that's sustainable for you, that you can see yourself doing this for the long term. Whatever works for you, just adding in more daily movement is going to make such a big difference. I've talked about this a lot. I started to make sure I'm reaching, for the most part, 10,000 steps a day. And this has actually been super sustainable for me. I used to think that was way too many steps because I do work from home. And I thought that I would eventually fall off, but it's been 3 months now and I've been able to stick to this on a daily basis. I've just been able to incorporate it into my lifestyle, and it just doesn't feel like a lot anymore compared to before. Before, I was getting no steps in the year and it was really bad, and I rarely was moving my body. So this was something I knew I had to work on. And now, like I said, it just feels really easy, and it just feels like it's part of my routine, part of my day, and you'll feel so much better just getting in that movement. The last tip is stop eating at night and have like a cutoff line. This is something I started to do because at points there were times when I was my most unhealthy, where I was eating late at night, and that's when I would get in the snacking mood. Of course, the longer you're staying up at night, you start to get hungry and you start to snack, and usually when you're snacking, you snack on unhealthy foods for the most part. Well, that was definitely me. Typically, I'll stop around, I'd say 7 p.m. is when I stop eating anything, and I'll just have water and I'll have tea. And this works perfectly for me because I definitely tried to go to bed earlier, and it just makes me feel better when I'm not eating all night, and then it just upsets my stomach. I just like to have that time to kind of digest and just to have like an hour and a half or so to myself before I go up and start my bedtime routine. This is even what I tried to do for the most part on weekends. Weekends can be a little bit more relaxed. I'm not super hard on myself, but if I'm just staying home doing nothing, then I try to stick to the same routine. And I do really like to end off my night with a nice herbal tea. I've been loving the lemon. I love so many different Tetley herbal teas. That's usually what I go for, and it's just a great thing to have at the end to unwind and just to finish off your night. And with that is just going to bed earlier and just getting a good night's rest is going to make such a big difference in your overall journey of weight loss and losing fat. So I always try to make sure that I'm getting a good amount of sleep, and I'm just taking care of my body in all the ways that I possibly can to get the best results and to also just feel my best. Those are all of the tips when it comes to how I was able to lose fat and tone up. If you guys liked it, thumbs it up. Don't forget to click the subscribe button. I do post every single Tuesday and Thursday. I will also link down below my fitness playlist. And with that being said, I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye!